I did it. I'm live. Okay, so I was going to start this live probably 30 or 40 minutes ago, but when I looked up on my YouTube app, I noticed that Carolyn Wanhade was doing a live. So I had to postpone this live in order to do her live. So that's what I did. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But it was a great time. I asked her tons and tons of questions. Hey, Lupe. I asked her tons and tons of questions, and she answered all my questions. And I paid her $10 to do a video for me. So I'm very, very excited because how often do you get someone like OneAid to do a custom video just for you? And so hopefully she'll pull through because I've already given her my deposit money and she will make the video that I've asked her to make. But this video is not about her live stream or the potential video she's going to do for me. This video is because I did a tag on Twitter. Hey, I see you. You have to make my dreams come true. Anyway, this is because I did a tag on Twitter and I had somebody ask me to elaborate on the tag. So the tag was, what's your concert history? And I talked about, my last concert, first concert, all this stuff. But I mentioned that my worst concert experience was Summer Jam with Tyrese. And also somebody said, oh yeah, Cyndi Lauper was a cool first concert. So I wanted to talk about how that almost got me suspended from the second grade. So... yeah, so I'm going to talk about that very briefly, and then I'll be off of here. But I need to talk about Summer Jam. I think I've talked about it on my channel before, but if I have not, I'm surprised. But it's been years since I talked about it. So when I was in high school, I was... she's going to make the video. When I was in high school, I went to Summer Jam, which was this big concert they would have when I lived in El Paso. And they would bring in all kinds of people. And that concert was actually a really amazing concert, to be quite honest with you. I saw Ricky Martin back before he did Living La Vida Loca. He was promoting the song Cup of Life from the World Cup from that year. And he had long hair at the time. But yeah, I remember specifically because there was a girl that was standing next to me. She's like, oh my God, it's Ricky Martin from Menudo! And I'm like... wow, menudo. Haven't heard that in forever. So
isn't menudo a dish?
Yes, that too. Anyway, okay, so I did tell the story. So anyway, somehow or another, I don't know how this happens. I get lost in like the backside stage of Summer Jam. I came and I saw the acts I wanted to see. I didn't want to see the final act, so I'm getting ready to leave. And Tyrese is in a limo or getting ready to get in a limo, and he is a complete asshat. Like, just 10 out of 10, would not recommend. He's like berating whoever it is that's talking to him. Some girl tries to ask him for an autograph, and he like literally shoos her away with like this sweeping arm motion, which is so disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And then like he gets in the limo and you can see somebody's knocking on the window to talk to him, and he's just like totally ignoring them. And it wasn't like a fan or somebody like that. It was somebody who works for the production team. And he's just like totally, fuck you, I'm not coming out this limousine. And I'm thinking, I will never in my adult life spend a penny on this asshole. And I haven't. I've never paid to see a Transformer movie. I've never paid to see any of Tyrese Gibson's movies that he's made with anyone in my adult life. Haven't done it. I still actually like a lot of his songs though, which is a damn shame. But I hate him as a person, and it ruined that concert experience for me because I had managed at some point to get within about 10 feet from the stage. And so like I was like right there for a lot of really interesting moments. Like I remember when Total was on stage, they were pretending to be lesbians, I guess, and one of them took a rose and started rubbing it on the other girl's vagina and then threw it into the audience. It was an R&B group from back in the day. They were signed to Bad Boy. And like I remember the guys near me were pushing women out the way to catch this coochie rose. And it's just like, first of all, yuck. And secondly, rude.
Who's Sade?
Oh, Sade.
Oh, well, it's different.
The baby doesn't know how to pronounce that word. That's okay. It's
I
right.
know it's Sade, but like, why?
Sade.
Why did you write it like that?
Because that's how she spells her name.
I thought it was Shade.
No, she doesn't spell her name Shade. It's Sade.
But like the E has the...
No.
accent.
No,
over
it's SADE.
Uh,
I've been listening
the
to Sade for 30 years. I know how to spell her name. Sorry. Arguments between us two. Anyway, so that's the story of why Summer Jam Tyrese was my worst concert experience, because it's one of those things where when you see a celebrity cutting up, it makes you feel like you don't ever want to see a celebrity off of a stage because you feel like they're all going to let you down that way. So that was my worst concert experience. Cyndi Lauper in the second grade, how she almost got me suspended from the second grade. So when I was a really little girl, my mom and I lived in a town called Tyler, Texas. And I actually lived there as an adult for several years too. That's actually the city where I started my YouTube channel. And so there's this place in Tyler called the Oil Palace. And it's kind of a concert hall slash, I don't know, it's like a concert hall, but it's also like an arena kind of place. They do car shows there. They do wrestling there. People have rented out that place for quinceañeras. I've been to one there before. Like, all the things happen in the Oil Palace. And so my mom got us concert tickets to go see Cyndi Lauper at the Oil Palace. And I can be honest with you, I don't remember anything about that concert at all because I was in the second grade and I have very spotty memories from the second grade. But I remember very distinctly that when my mom took me, she took me and my older sister, who is 8 years older than me. So my older sister was like a middle schooler at that point. And we bought posters because my mom was like, I want to get you guys something to commemorate that we've been to this show. And my sister got a poster with Cyndi Lauper, and she's standing on a clamshell pose like the Venus de Milo, Venus coming from the sea foam. And she's not wearing clothes. She's got like long fake hair, and she's strategically posed covering her crotch and covering her tetas. And so it was an artistic thing. It wasn't a sexual thing. I, on the other hand, had the poster that had like all of the different singles covers on it. And I really liked my sister's poster a lot better than my poster. So I asked my sister if I could take her poster to school for show and tell. So I go to school with the Cyndi Lauper poster, and I'm so proud because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell all my friends how I went.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to see your Animal Crossing stuff right now, Stephanie. Do you not see that I'm occupied? Anywho, so I'm a super proud second grader, and let's see. I was 7 years old. I did not have any idea about nudity being bad or anything like that because, like, my parents didn't walk around nude, so I actually didn't have a concept for nudity. I just really liked the clamshell, and I liked her long hair. I bring it to school to show it in my class for second grade, and my teacher immediately sends me to the principal's office. And I'm like, what'd I do? I brought show and tell it, show and tell day. I don't know what the problem is. I get to the principal's office, and the principal calls my mom, and at this point I'm crying because I'm in the second grade, and I'm too young to understand that not every time they call your parents you have to be scared, like, because I had never had that happen before. Like, the only time anybody ever got their parents called is if they were sick. And usually the kids that were sick and got sent home had either peed on themselves or they had vomited in class, or like, ooh, you're in trouble. So I thought I was in trouble, and I didn't even know why I was in trouble. So I'm scared to death. My mom comes, and the teacher tells my mom, you're going to have to take Samantha home because she brought pornography to school and showed it to the class. And again, second grade, have no concept of pornography, nudity, none of this stuff. And so I'm like, I don't know what pornography is. I just brought the poster from the concert. So my mom's like, well, show me the poster. And my mom sees it, and she sees I've got my sister's poster because she knew she bought us both posters, but she didn't know which one I brought to school.
Oh my god!
Because I had it rolled
I got
up.
A snow crab.
So I bring it, or the teacher brings it out, and my mom's like, this isn't nudity. This is a poster, and this lady's private parts are covered, and this was given out at a concert where children were attending. There's nothing wrong with this, and if you suspend my daughter from school, I'm going to contact the school board because obviously you're being biased because there's nothing naughty here. And so the principal tried to argue with my mom, but eventually my mom got her way. I was like, no, there's no reason to suspend my daughter. You guys are being mad haters right now. And so I got to stay in school. But that teacher hated me. And so that began a long line and a string of very passive aggressive moves from a teacher towards a child. And when I think about it now as a grown up, I kind of wish I could find this lady and kick her in her ass because
Ooh.
I remember being in the second grade and her telling me that I was too stupid to make it to the third grade. I remember her like just saying really nasty things to me. She made me sit in the desk in the corner while everybody else's desks were in rows. Like she was just a really awful teacher. She definitely wasn't somebody who should have been around kids.
Don't raise your kids in Tyler, Texas.
But East Texas is a terrible place to have
Oh,
kids
yes.
at anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, that is my reason, or that's my experience about Cyndi Lauper almost getting me suspended from the second grade. And then I need to make a correction to this tweet actually, because first concert was Cyndi Lauper, but I said that my last concert was Ariana Grande. That is not true. My last concert was actually Super M, and it was one of my best concert experiences, which is why I'm so angry that I forgot to list it. It's not my best concert experience. That still belongs to Shiny World 5. Absolutely. 10 out of 10. But Super M is really an important concert experience to me because it was the concert where I met Shawwal 5, and Shawwal 5 was one of the first people to ever subscribe to my channel. She was the first person to ever leave a comment for me on a YouTube video. Like, that's how long I've known Shawwal 5. And I've watched her go from being a shy teenager to a freshman in college to a college graduate. So, like, our journey together, our lives together as friends has really extended the life and breadth of my channel. So getting a chance to meet her in person for the first time was very important to me. And it was an amazing experience. I talked about it on my channel. Meeting her and talking to her, it was as if we had known each other all of our lives. Like there was no awkwardness. There was a quick hug, and then after that, it was conversation, 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 everything lined up, and I love her. I really really love her. So that concert experience was made special by the fact that one, I got with her. Two, Jade came down, so it was kind of like a YouTuber powwow in many ways. And three, it was the first time I was ever tasked with handing out merch to anybody. We had these banners that Shawwal and oh crap, what is her name? The other girl. Oh my gosh! Every time I think about her name, I always think Texas Infinite. So I know that's not right, but anyway, they had done a banner project together, and we handed out the banners to people. They were free, didn't cost any money, but I talked to so many people. Not long, but I talked to several people handing out these banners. I even met Lammy, who she does every once in a while she'll chime in on the chat section of my videos. So it was a really special time for me because it was a chance to finally meet some people that I had communicated with several times but didn't have faces to put to names, or didn't have like bodies to put to faces. That sounds really weird. But yeah, that was my last concert experience. And I put next concert experience Monsta X ? Because I'm scheduled to see Monsta X this summer. I'm going with what's her name? Stephanie. How would I forget this lady's name when her name is literally my baby's name? Anyway, Stephanie, my in real life Shawwal friend who lives here in the Springs, she bought us both tickets. We've got tickets where you get to wave goodbye to them when they leave at Barricade. I don't know what those tickets are called. I never ever buy fancy tickets for concerts and things, so that's the reason why I can tell you what the name of the VIP packages that we're doing. All I know is that them hoes are $290 a piece, and I've paid half of what my ticket's gonna cost. I told her I'd pay the other half when the concert time arrives, but there's a good chance I'm gonna have to ask her to sell my ticket because I have to buy a new car. My car, when I got in the car wreck on the 6th of February, that car actually got totaled out by the insurance company, and I have to buy a brand new car. And so I've been like, Do I really want to spend another $145 on a ticket to go see Monsta X, or do I want to go ahead and, you know, sell that and put that money towards my bills, considering that my bills are now about to increase because I've got a higher car note I'm going to have to start paying. So that's why the question mark was there. Best concert, Shiny World 5. I did an entire blog about going to Shiny World 5, and so when I say it's my best concert experience, it is that way for a myriad of reasons. It's that way because it was the second time I was seeing Shiny in person, but Shiny was doing Shiny World 5, the amended version for the US audience, so there was a lot more songs that were performed. They danced so hard, they showed so much personality. It was just, when they did their fan meets, you could tell that because they had the interpreter kind of being in charge of so much of the show, they didn't feel free to express themselves in the way that they normally would if it was just them dancing and singing. And when it came to Shiny World 5 at that point, I think they were like, okay, we don't have to rely on the interpreters much because we're going to be performing a whole bunch. And so that's what made that experience so much nicer, because it didn't feel like there were any barriers between the crowd and Shiny. We were talking to each other and we were talking in the same language, which is music. People I've seen the most, I've seen Shiny twice. So I've seen them the most. Actually, I've seen Taemin 3 times because I saw Taemin with Super M. So yeah, Taemin I've seen 3 times. Shiny I've seen twice. OT5 Shiny I've seen twice. I really want to see Bruno Mars, y'all. I really, really, really want to see Bruno Mars. I have loved all of his albums that he's put out. He is really super entertaining and charming, and I would love to see him in concert because I think I would literally dance and sing the night away. Sade, she is one of my childhood inspirations. I've loved her for so many years, and I mean, she has classics upon classics upon classics, and also she's totally a vibe. So yeah, I want to see her in person. And then Red Velvet. Red Velvet is the one K-pop girl group that's currently still active that I try to get everything they release. And so I would really love to see Red Velvet in person because there's so many songs in the catalog that I would enjoy hearing live. And I'm passionately in love with Selgi. Like I love everything about that lady. I think she is so smart. I think she is so beautiful. I think she's such a great dancer. I think she's a wonderful singer. I think she has lots of personality. And yeah, I see it for Selgi in every way imaginable. I really would like her to be the first solo out of Red Velvet, honestly. Even though Wendy vocal wise probably deserves it more, but I just feel like Selgi would give us something. Like I think she would give us something kind of Chunga, something kind of Boa, something kind of Luna. Like I just really think that she would do something special. That, and like Selgi has a really good network, which a lot of people don't ever really consider when they think about their idols. But there are certain idols that like they know a lot of people in the industry that aren't just in their section of the industry. Like there's some people who are like every idol's best friend and all of their friends are other idols. Then there's people who are like, I get along with the people who are in more of the K-hip hop indie genre, not necessarily the K-pop section. Then you have the ones who are like really good friends with actors. Then you have the ones that are like really good friends with like behind the scenes production folks. That's where Solgi shines. Solgi's really great friends with like a lot of indie artists and a lot of behind the scenes like songwriters, producers, those kind of people. And I think that's the reason why she would be a really great solo, because I think she would pool her resources to give you a project that is very unique, very much like her own brand, not necessarily Red Velvet. I think she'd pull a Taemin on us. I feel like she's got it in her to pull off a female move. Not like that song sound, but like something that when it gets released, everybody does the dances, everybody knows the songs, everybody is a part of it. It's a moment in the culture. I think she's got that in her. She just needs a chance to do it because she wants to, but she dumbs herself down a lot, or at least brings the activity level down a lot in order to be part of Red Velvet. So yeah, I would love for her to do a solo because I think that she's got it in her, and I think we would all really enjoy it quite a bit. So that is all of my concert talk for you guys today. If there's anything you want to ask me or anything we should talk about, I'll definitely do that. But I don't know anything else that I need to talk about. The Rose is trying to nullify their contract, which good luck to them. I don't know anything about the label that they're signed with, so I don't know if it's a good label or a bad label, but most artists really aren't protected the way they should be. So I feel like any step towards independence is the right step because you're probably being taken advantage of. Like 9 times out of 10, you're probably being taken advantage of. Other K-pop news, Hanbin Bi from iKON did a drug test and he tested negative for drugs, which a lot of iKON stands have been like, we knew it. We knew it. I told you my man was innocent. I told you my man was innocent. And this is the thing. And this is me again being a party pooper, spoil sort, nanny nanny boo boo. I'm shitting on your parade. Him testing negative for drugs now doesn't mean that he was not doing drugs then, and it absolutely doesn't mean he wasn't trying to solicit for drugs. That evidence is totally separate from any drug test he would do today. And so I feel like you're kind of prematurely celebrating this thing here. It's not over yet. So, maybe hold off on the confetti, if you will. YG are planning on debuting a new girl group. I feel this way about it only because of what has happened in the past. Them talking about debuting a new girl group means that those girls will probably be out in about 4 years. And I say that because we heard about Blackpink probably about 4 years before they debuted. And at that time, they were called the New 2NE1. I did a video about this completely. When Blackpink first debuted, I talked about this whole thing. There was a video that was on YG's channel talking about the New 2NE1. And it was a bunch of little girls. And when I say little, I'm talking 13, 14, 15-year-old girls dancing. Like really, and there might have even been a 12-year-old. But there were little girls dancing, and then 2NE1 breaks up, and all of a sudden we have Blackpink. And they literally are the new 2NE1. Like, number of members, fandom colors, everything. And so I feel like YG telling you now that they're going to debut a new girl group, unless we're getting the punk half of Pink Punk, I don't see these girls debuting anytime soon. As it stands, YG was supposed to deliver Blackpink's comeback in the first quarter of the year. That has not happened yet, and it's not going to because YG are fucking liars. And they're doing media play. They've been media playing ever since YG stepped down from running the label. They have been doing media play to make it seem like that label can't succeed without YG sitting in the passenger seat or in the driver's seat. And so all the bullshit with Treasure kind of getting postponed on their debut and all the stuff that's been going on with the very messy rollout of iKON's comeback and, the kind of lackluster support behind Winner and the lack of progress for Blackpink. All that has to do with mechanisms behind the scene at YG in order to get YG back to the company, to convince the shareholders we need him back. The company can't survive without him. He was the mastermind, the brains behind all the good things that ever happened here. When really the reality is he's an asshole and doesn't deserve any of the credit that he's been assigned all these years. And I really wish he would choke on a dick. But that's just me being the negative person I am. But I mean, it is the truth. That label could run itself, honestly, with the talent that's in house, the producers that they have, the songwriters that they have. That label could run itself. But the problem is that YG is a narcissist. And as a narcissist, he makes sure that even if it's not him, it's about him. And in a lot of ways, and I've talked about this conspiracy theory before on my channel, I believe all the drug nonsense that you've heard about with YG artists from Top to GD to BI to the producers, all of that has to do with YG being able to control people. You know, part of being around a narcissist is that they make you believe that you need to worship them because worshiping them protects you. And so they'll tell you who got you into school, who paid your light bill, who bought you a new car, who bought those clothes, who proposed to you, who made you the woman, the man that you are today. It was me. And if you continue to support me, I can pull you up even higher. And you know who says stuff like that besides narcissists? Pimps. That's who says stuff like that. Back in the day, like if you look at movies from the 70s and the 80s where they would talk about pimps, a pimp's line to a woman would be, "Ho, listen, go out there and work the strip for daddy and bring the money home. Watch your daddy get rich. And as daddy does better, you're going to do better too. You'll be walking better streets in no time." Like, that's literally what YG is, a fucking pimp. And because he's a fucking pimp, he's running a mind game on the artist and playing with their futures by saying, "Oh, yeah, we totally can't do anything if I'm not in the driver's seat, you know, and when I go down, the rest of y'all go down too." And he's evil enough and corrupt enough that if he does actually get sent to prison, he will bring that entire label down with him. So anybody who is due for a contract renewal, don't sign it. Be like High, find somewhere else to go. Don't go there. Don't go there because they mean you no good. I cannot wait for Acton Musician to get away from YG. You know, I'm sure that right now YG has been throwing all kinds of pearls at their feet saying, "Just stay on the label. I'm going to work this bullshit out and then I'll be back." And they're like, "Okay, well, you know, I guess." But I really want them to get the hell out of there. I want everybody to leave because there is no hope at that label. None. None at all. Not gonna happen. No support. Don't end up like 2NE1 with a 4-album discography in Korea. It makes no sense. You know, I mean, I'm even like, YG has soured the pot so much for us that I can't even be happy about Big Bang coming back at Coachella. Like, that's how awful it has been. I can't even be excited about that because I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool and all, but they're not going to have any new music to sing at Coachella. They haven't done anything since they've all gotten out of the military. And, you know, a lot of OT5 fans are saying, well, it's because Seungri. And I feel like, yeah, fuck that. That guy, I could give a damn about. I don't care about what happens to him. But, you know, the other four, like, GD should have something. GD should have something. And I don't know if it's just because the military, like, totally soured him on everything. But the fact that there's no music coming out, I don't know, man. It's just hard to get excited because I feel like he ruined them. I feel like if YG had been a better label head and wasn't so fucking narcissistic and didn't need to control everybody, then he wouldn't have been able to play a part in the dismantling of Seungri in a lot of ways. And this is something that I'm almost hesitant to share with you guys in terms of opinion because I don't ever want to seem like I'm sympathetic towards somebody who takes advantage of women's desperate situations. But when it comes to Seungri, in a lot of ways, I feel like while Seungri is responsible for where he's at in the court system and he totally is complicit in a lot of the things he's being accused of, I feel like in many, many ways, the toxic environment that YG created on his label made it to where when Seungri was doing things that weren't completely above board or maybe would not be seen as right in the eyes of law enforcement, YG encouraged it. Because what he encouraged was this idea that money and power and fame are more valuable than anything else. And when Seungri was getting involved with shady guys who were starting offshore companies to hide money, and when Seungri was throwing these big parties and hiring prostitutes to go to these big parties and, you know, doing gambling in Las Vegas and all this other stuff, I think in a lot of ways YG was like, attaboy, that's how you do it. That's how you become a power player. And when Seungri was coming back to YG saying, "My friend just got in trouble. Who do you know on the police force?" And YG's like, "I got a number for you. Call this guy. He'll make it disappear." Like, he was grooming Sungri to be a part of this game of manipulation and, favors and all this other stuff. And I wonder very sincerely, what kind of life could Sungri have had if he didn't have YG spoiling him? If YG had been an upright, stand up person, and instead of encouraging Sungri to play in the dirt with these other slime balls, if he had told him to take the high road and let his talent and his ingenuity and his entrepreneurship guide him, what he could have been instead. So that's the reason why, like, I don't want to seem like I'm on Sungri's side, because it's far from that, because he's a full grown adult, like 30, full grown adult. But I think early on, when he was extremely vulnerable, because remember, he's been on the label since he was a teenager. Early on, when he was very vulnerable, he needed somebody to guide him in the ways of that industry in the right way, and YG was never the one. And I think a lot of the things he did for YG's approval. And now look where it has gotten him. How many other young people did YG ruin in the process? How many trainees do you think we never got to hear anything from, because even though they were super talented, they got caught up in some of that drug bullshit on the label, and they end up out there strung the fuck out? You know? It's a sad reality of things, but there's a lot of untold stories of people who could have been but never were, because they got caught up in that net of just industry disgustingness. Seriously. So, I feel bad for him in that way.
Wasn't there this thing on YouTube or something called like Almost Famous?
There's a lot of Almost Famous. There's even a movie called Almost Famous.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a lot of people who've been like right there on the edge of getting it done and then just not making it. Recently, like just in the last couple of days, I've been seeing so many YouTube videos about the singer JoJo, which I don't know how many of the people watching here know JoJo.
JoJo, what?
No, not that singer. Not Casey and JoJo's JoJo. I'm talking about JoJo the singer, Get Out, A Little Too Late. And she did a sit down with Vox, and they talked to her about her career. And when they talked to her about her career, it was really sad, because there are people in my particular age group who know who JoJo is, have a really soft spot in their heart for her, and her songs fucking jam and are a part of their life soundtrack. But there's a whole big group of people who have no idea who JoJo is, and have no idea how JoJo had to walk for an Ariana to run.
Ooh.
Because JoJo was that first young teenage white girl with the soulful voice out here killing the charts. Like in a land of.
Wait, what about Tina Marie?
Tina Marie was different, because Tina Marie was a grown up when we met her. Same thing with like Christina Aguilera. Like Christina Aguilera was a teenager, had a very soulful voice, but JoJo was 13.
Whoa.
JoJo was like a kid when we met her, and she had her whole voice at 13. And she was signed to Black Ground Records, which is a black record label. And JoJo really should have been a much bigger star than what she ended up being. And she was very kind, actually, to Black Ground when she did her interview with Vox. She basically said that the company had burned a lot of bridges when it came to being able to actually distribute her album. And so they quit distributing an album. They quit putting out her music because they had no way to actually get it out to people at that point. What she didn't talk about, which is the other messy half of this, which I found out when I was reading about all the R. Kelly stuff and all the stuff with Aaliyah, and the reason why Aaliyah's music is not on streaming a lot of the time, it is because the founder of Black Ground Music, who is Barry Hankerson, he, I want to say he is one of the original Pips from Gladys Knight and the Pips. He's like a total megalomaniac. Like he's like one of those super narcissistic record label people that everything is about him. and he totally scammed R. Kelly out of R. Kelly's royalties and publishing. The artists that were signed under him, he signed them to these like slavery, take all your masters contracts. It was not just R. Kelly and JoJo, but I think it was also Tank was also signed to that record label. Timbaland and Magoo, I think. I think Magoo might have been signed to Blackground, but there were a lot of people that were signed to Blackground that their music was never put online. And what happened was this guy actually got sued by a former girlfriend, lover, somebody like that, and they actually won the record label from him. And what he's been doing is that he's been like transferring the ownership of the record label to different entities every couple of years to keep the record label from getting into that person's hands who actually won the record label in a lawsuit. And because of all the changing of hands, Blackground can't ever sign any distribution contracts with anybody because you have to establish ownership in order to do it. Because in order to sign a contract, whoever is the head of the label has to sign the contract, and he's the shadow head, label head. And also, it's kept them from streaming because no one can actually sign the contracts with the streaming services to get the songs onto streaming platforms. So, like, in a lot of ways, her career was stymied because the people who ran her label were shitty, illegal scumbuckets, and it ruined her career. She's just now kind of getting back to where she needed to be. That was weird. That was really weird. Like the stream just totally went blank and closed on me. But anyway, she did an album a couple years ago called Mad Love. It was all right. But this year, she has done, well, 2019, she did a song with PJ Morton called Say So, which is a really great song. And she just released a song called, is it called Sabotage? Really good song. And she also did a song called Joanna. And the song called Joanna, if you're a JoJo fan, I highly encourage you to listen to that song. It is called Joanna. And it literally is her talking about how other people see her life and her career and just like all the shit they have to say about her. Like, you're not hot, you're not anything special, your career is over. Like, it's cold. It's actually really cold, but at the same time it's kind of awesome to see because at the same time it's like you can tell she's very present about like why it is things happen and what's going on and what she needs to do to get back on top. And then, yeah, the re-record she did, it's because her label owned her masters. And the contract that she signed, honestly, she signed a contract that would have had her signed to that record label for like 20 years. But because she was a minor when she signed that contract, the state where the contract was signed has like child labor laws that the contract violated. And because of that, she was able to nullify her contract. But when she nullified her contract, it was for no compensation, no ownership of masters, nothing. So what she did, since she wasn't getting paid for the music and the people who actually wrote and produced those songs were not getting paid for the music, she went into the studio with her own money and she re-recorded every single song that she released on both of the albums just so that that music would be on streaming for fans who wanted to hear it in the future. And she actually made back all of the money she spent recording those albums within 3 months of posting them online for streaming. And now it gives a chance for her to get her money, and it gives a chance for the people she collaborated with to get their money as well. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch her career recover, but it just goes to show like shitty record label contracts and shitty record labels in general is not something that's exclusive to Asia. It's something that happens all over the world, basically. But yeah, she's recovering in a really big way, and I'm really excited to see it because she deserved it. She deserved it, and I'm gonna keep on supporting her. I bought Joanna and Sabotage on digital, and I'm really excited for her. I'm not gonna be able to see her in concert. She's going to Dallas in May, I believe, but she's not coming anywhere near Colorado, so I won't be able to see her in concert. But I'm really happy for her. I'm really happy for her. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else K-pop wise? Oh, let's talk about the coronavirus, y'all. let's talk about the coronavirus and why it kind of actually soured my experience of watching BTS's new video. Okay, so BTS released a new video for their song On. So they had On the Manifesto film, which was basically a choreography film. And then they had this new video for On, which takes place kind of in a post-apocalyptic world where it seems like the ground is barren and people are, hoarding supplies because it's the end of the world. That's what people do. And at some point, Jungkook, who I guess is the savior of this new world, ends up in a river, and his crown of thorns, which has been turned into shackles, gets released, and he pulls out a conch shell, which is full of water, which means it wouldn't actually blow in real life. Pulls out a conch shell, blows the conch shell, and I guess that signals the coming of this new age. The walls for protecting the people on Attack on Titan open, and they end up at Pride Rock from Lion King, and all of a sudden the grass starts growing and BTS, the saviors of this new world, run up Pride Rock. It is not a video that I personally would want to watch again, to be honest with you. But the thing that made it unsettling to me was the fact that in Korea, as we're speaking, there is a really large doomsday cult. And that doomsday cult is actually responsible for the massive outbreak of coronavirus in Korea. From what I understand from reading different news articles and stuff, one of the members of this cult came back to Korea from China. And when they came back, they displayed symptoms of the coronavirus, but they refused 3 times to be tested for this coronavirus. And they went about their business, going to work, going to church, going to the supermarket, doing all the things that we do. Well, this person happened to attend a very large gathering of this church and infected many people at this church. And then those people went to their jobs and went to their homes and went to their friends and neighbors and supermarkets. And that, they say, is like pretty much ground zero for the massive outbreak in Korea currently. And this doomsday cult, their belief is that when the world starts over again, they, the chosen 144,000, will be the ones to restart the world. That kind of sounds very similar to this BTS video, especially because specifically RM section is Noah and the Ark. Like, it's literally an ark behind him and the animals, and then Jungkook's handcuffs are the crown of thorns. And then the world is post-apocalyptic and it is being started over. I'm sorry. And they're all wearing like white kind of culty outfits. I'm not saying that BTS is a part of this cult. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that in the times that we're living in, especially with the way that the coronavirus has spread in Korea, I found the video to have very poor timing. Not the best timing. But this is not me trying to spread a conspiracy theory or anything like that, but I promise you, I watched that video when it premiered. Like, I was brushing my teeth when the countdown thing was going on and watching it and being like, wait a fucking minute. Like, Jin collecting the bird cages, the fucking dove is what they released when they were looking for land in the Old Testament. Like, it is. I don't know how BTS's label wants to have people interpret this video, but this video was a very much steeped in Christianity video. Like the bird cages and, leading the blind and the animals and the ark. It's a very, very biblical video. And as somebody who grew up Southern Baptist, who is currently a Lutheran, who, grew up taking vacation Bible school, there is so much stuff in that video that, like, speaks to my religious background that it's impossible for me not to watch it with my religion goggles. So again, it reads to me that this is the new world. And, God said he was not going to destroy the world again through flood, which is the reason why the land looks barren, because it's a lack of water. And then all of a sudden, the world is renewed and reborn. And then, like, there's a gospel choir sound in the back of the song anyway. So, yeah, it was an uncomfortable watch for me. And so I don't think I'll be watching that video again anytime soon. As it is, I've listened to the album now, I think about 3 more times since I did the live listen on my channel, and it's still meh for me. It's still meh for me. It's still meh for me. But, at the same time, I am just one individual, and my life experiences influence the way I see the world. And it could be that none of the religious overtones that I'm describing were at all ever intended. Maybe BTS doesn't see it that way. Maybe their producer tried to sneak some shit in. But yeah, it's really awkward to have a super religious video from a Korean pop group when the source of the major outbreak in Korea for the coronavirus comes from that doomsday cult, which is an ultra Christian religious group. Just saying. And by the way, just because I happen to be Lutheran and I talk about my religion on my channel does not mean that I have anything against anyone of any other religion or anyone who is atheist or agnostic. I think when it comes to this lifetime, we all walk our own journey. We all go to the places we need to go in the ways that we need to go. So no judgment for anybody, but I talk about it freely because that's my right. And I especially do it because I think there are a lot of people who have my same spiritual background who often feel conflicted and torn because there are so many people who are Christians who have done things that have hurt people that it makes those of us who are just trying to live in our own walk ashamed to kind of broadcast that out there. So that's the reason why when I talk about it, I definitely try to make it clear I'm talking from my own point of view. I'm talking from my own background. It's in no judgment of anybody else. It's just telling you this is how I feel. This is who I am. And if me being a believer, if you have a positive impression of me, then that's great, because then maybe I make people like me a little less scary to those of you watching my channel. So there you go. Yeah, is there anything else I need to talk about K-pop wise? No, I'm looking for a group order to buy Crush's LP, but Yes Asia has it on their site, so I might just get it there. It's really expensive though. I might not buy it. Honestly, I might not buy it. Like, I really want it, but at the same time, Yes Asia has it for $75.99. That's a lot of money, y'all. That's a lot of money. But then when I went on eBay, it was pretty much the same price on eBay. So it's probably not overpriced. I'm probably just brokey broke right now, and that's the reason why this feels like a ton of money to me. Also, I'm looking at my hair in the camera, and I'm thinking to myself that I need to cut my hair off. Like, I'm looking at this right now, and even though my hair looks extremely thin because it is, because I'm an old bitch, I'm thinking a short haircut with maybe like a longer bang on top might not be a bad idea. I haven't cut my hair, by the way. Like, my hair's in a ponytail. It's just back here. See, it's just back here. But I just, you get tired of having your hair in your face, so you tie it up sometimes. It is what it is. Oh, also, make sure this is clear. I don't know if it's physical yet, but DPR is coming out with a new album. DPR Live is coming out with a new album, and I'm pumped. I've wanted DPR to come out with new music for so long now, and I know he's got to live his life, have adventures, experience things in order to come back with something to write about, but I loved Coming to You Live. I loved Her. I just thought the 2 albums he put out as total projects were so very, very, very good. So I am excited for his new stuff. I saw the teaser. The teaser is extremely artistic. I didn't really get a good sense of the music of this album based on the teaser, but it shot wonderful and Ian's super excited about it. So yeah, DPR came back before Dean. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe we're getting a DPR project before we get a full Dean project. That hurts my heart in a lot of ways because I've been thinking about it, and like, if you were to take Instagram and Dayfly and Howling and Love and the little mini project he did with the 2 songs with Becky Wren and the other song, if you were to put all those together, that's at least a decent mini album. I don't know what he's waiting for. I don't know what he needed to get clearance for. I don't know why this project is being postponed for so long. But Crush, I need you to see about your mans. Maybe y'all aren't on speaking terms after you saw you and Sick K walking down the aisle, but you got to talk to him and you got to ask him, is there anything I can do to make things right for you? Because the public's waiting and I don't want to see your career kind of go in this route. Yeah. And on Spotify, I have Dean Radio is one of the channels I listen to on Spotify, and like every other song is someone else's song, even though it's like Dean Radio and it's like all of Dean's songs. It's just like it's his features on Show Me the Money and his features on other people's projects, but hardly any of his music. If you listen for like a good 2 hours, you've listened to his entire discography. That's fucking sad. I hate that for him. I really do hate that for him. So I'm going to get off this live stream because I'm going to start talking about Boys Love and I don't want to conflate the 2 lives. So I'm going to keep this one, the K-pop/music talk, and then I'm going to get off and then I'm going to get back on and talk about Boys Love. I'm going to talk about what I'm currently watching. I'm going to talk about a Boys Love translated story that I just finished reading and how I might consider watching the bromance show that was inspired by it. So yeah, I'm gonna get off here and get on there, but because this is a standalone video, I need to actually end it, unlike what I did with my BTS album packaging review. And so let me end it with this. Coronavirus is, they're not quite sure how it gets transmitted. They think it could be transmitted by the wind. They think it could be transmitted by coughing. They don't really know. But some things that you can do to help yourself in this cold and flu season that a lot of people don't really think of is quit holding the railing everywhere you fucking go. I have to tell Stephanie that all the time. We have stairs in our apartment, and when she's walking down the stairs, she always like runs her hand along the rail, and I tell her all the time, don't do that, because everybody who has been doing everything has been touching that railing. There are so many guys who go to the bathroom and pee, shake it out, and then don't wash their hands. And those same people put their hands on the railing when you're going in public spaces. So if you can avoid the railing and you're not going to be like in danger of falling, avoid railing at all costs. If you have a winter coat, buy a winter coat that you can wash on a weekly basis. One of the other things that a lot of people get sick from is the fact that their winter coats, the sleeves come in contact with a lot of really dirty things. And so if you have a coat that you wear the entire season that never gets cleaned, you store a lot of germs and bacteria in the fabric of your coat. And so I wear hoodies basically all year round, but especially in the winter, because every week when I wash my clothes, I throw my hoodie in the wash and I wash it because I don't want to carry those germs on me. If you're sick, stay home. Like, seriously, I know all of us have, like, we got projects to do at school. We need to go to work so we can make this money. Like, there's all this stuff we have to do. But stay home for 2 reasons. Number 1, don't get me sick because I'm going to hate you. But number 2, stay home because you need to heal. When you're at work and you're not taking all the medicine you need because you can't think when you're on your medication, you are postponing your ability to get better quicker. When I'm sick, I stay home. And do you know what I do when I'm at home? I hibernate. Like, I take all of the cold medicine that is safe for me to take. I lay down and I don't wake up for 6 hours. I spend most of my sick time asleep because your body actually heals when you're asleep, because your body has to concentrate on like breathing and heartbeat, and that's it. It doesn't have to think. It doesn't have to think about conversation. It doesn't have to walk through your day. It just gets to lay there and focus on the art of healing itself. And that is the reason why when you're sick, stay your ass home. Take a nap. Drink some juice. So this is my advice for you going into this season is just take care of yourself, be preventative in terms of like not carrying a lot of germs. Ladies, if you don't do this, and I'm really guilty of this, so I'm so sorry. It's not me accusing you. If you don't do this, you need to do this. If you have a purse that you carry every single day and you set it down different places, at least once a week, take a Lysol or a Clorox wipe and wipe down the outside of your purse. Wipe down your cell phone once a week, but wipe down your wallet, your purse, and your cell phone. Another big place where you hibernate, where you harvest germs because you don't clean it, because you don't think about needing to clean it. So please, 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 please take care of yourself. And, avoid crowded places if you can. Amazon exists for a reason. Instacart exists for a reason. Order your groceries, order stuff in if you can. Only make those trips that are absolute necessities. Try to visit the store during light hours. Like, try to go to the store at, 2 in the afternoon. 2 in the afternoon on a weekday, hardly anybody's at the grocery store. It's perfect time to visit. But definitely take care of yourself. Recognize that you are important. Your job, your school, outings with your friends, that shit can wait. You need to stay healthy for you and the people who depend on you. So that's it for this live stream. And like I said, when I come back, I'll be talking about boys love. So if you don't want to talk about boys love, do not watch my next stream because that's all I'm talking about. All right, talk to you later. Bye.